From the high desert and the great American Southwest, I bid you all good evening or good morning, as the case may be, across all these zillions of time zones. From the Hawaiian and Tahitian island chains in the west, east to the Caribbean and the U.S. Virgin Islands, south into South America, north to the pole, and then a little jog out to the west to the Aleutian Islands. And I had a reason for saying that. And worldwide on the internet, this is Coast to Coast AM, underway for another week. Good morning, everybody. I'm Art Bell, and it's great to be here. My fax machine earlier today began lighting up like a Christmas tree. There have been, well, we'll find out how many, but some very, very serious earthquakes in the Aleutian Island chain. And so it was a good opportunity to bring Charles Watson on again. He is a consulting geologist. This morning he will consult with us. He's the owner of the geologic consulting firm Advanced Geologic Exploration in Reno. Founded in 1987, primary services include SeismoWatch, and earthquake information and services, or earthquake information and services, I guess I have to say, which include a weekly earthquake graphic in 27 newspapers in California, Nevada, Utah, soon in Washington, publishing the SeismoWatch newsletter, a comprehensive bulletin of weekly regional and worldwide earthquake info, earthquake alert bulletins, a rapid source of earthquake information via fax and email. And that's part of what lit up my fax earlier today. And the SeismoWatch web page, which is www.seismo-watch.com. www.seismo-watch.com. She's got a web page. That's great. So in a moment, we will talk with a geologist about what in the world is going on in the Aleutians. It has been since I last talked with you. It is an absolutely amazing chain of events for a chain of islands. And we'll get to that in a moment. Do you remember my friend Lynn Whitlake, who, very much like me, frankly, loves violent weather? Now, I know a lot of people, can't understand that, but we used to chase tornadoes, and Lynn has a passion for tornadoes. Well, Charles Watson is the equivalent of Lynn Whitlake with regard to earthquakes. Let me read you what he wrote. I've had the opportunity to ride through a few strong earthquakes and witness the Mount St. Helens volcanic eruptions. I'm probably different than most people, in that when an earthquake begins, I get charged with excitement. My eyes begin searching everywhere for the effects, the motion of the ground, the buildings, trees, people, etc., taking it all in as though I was a kid in a candy shop with $20 to spend. It's the Earth's dynamic physical process in action. These are the things I live for. I guess that's why I'm a geologist. I understand that kind of passion, Charles. Believe me, I share it. If not for earthquakes, then for violent storms and tornadoes, but I understand the passion. A lot of people don't. They probably think you're very weird, don't they?
I suspect there are probably a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, it makes for good radio, and when somebody really enjoys what they do. I do, and I know you do, and so what the hell's going on in the Aleutians?
It's come unglued, Art. This is a major quake. The USGS and Harvard just released the moment magnitude for this quake to be 7.9.
Woo!
Yeah, so they upped it a few points from the 7.7 they released earlier.
Uh-huh.
So this is a major quake.
Not everybody knows where the Aleutians are. Where are the Aleutians?
The Aleutians are a string of islands that stretch between Alaska and the Kamchatka Peninsula and on eastern Russia. The Bering Sea on one side and the Pacific Ocean on the other. It's where the Pacific Plate is being forced under the North American Plate rather brutally. And every now and again it sticks and jars and spits and sputters, and then finally it just goes.
Well, now and again is now.
Yeah.
She's going, and
it's now.
What has happened, and over what period of time?
Well, the quake happened last night, Alaska Standard Time, or Aleutian Standard Time, about 8:03 p.m. And it initially began at the western portion of the Andrianoff Islands. The way they've kind of grouped these islands, little clusters of them occur.
Right.
And as you head down the Alaska Peninsula, there's the Fox Island chain, there's the Andrianoff Islands, the Rat Islands, the Near Islands, then the Russian islands take over, which is the Komandorsky, and then you get into the Kamchatka Peninsula. So it's about right in the center of the main Aleutian Islands. And so in this little Aleutian Islands, it's a little group of islands called the Andrianoffs. And this place just got rock and rolled. There's not much out there, Art.
I understand.
Yeah, no, it's pretty brutal weather out there, and most of these islands are volcanic islands in origin, and they spit and sputter every now and again. But the earthquakes are what really take off. And
how unusual is this?
Well, there's been quite a few earthquakes in this century out there, mostly beginning about 1957 with the Great Aleutian 9.1 quake. This was the mother of all quakes, aside from the Alaska 64 quake.
Did you say 9.1?
9.1, 1957. Okay.
That's a big earthquake.
Yeah, that's the 64. The Great Alaska earthquake measured 9.2. These are moment magnitudes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, these are. This is calculated on the length of the rupture of the fault that ruptures, and the amount of force or the energy that's released. So those are some of the two largest quakes that have ever struck the world this century. And they fall second and third only from the Great Chilean quake, which was 1960. It measured 9.6.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a big quake.
I know a little bit about the Richter scale and how the magnitude increases, and anything over 9, it's like a hydrogen bomb going off.
Anything over an 8 is pretty large, Art. So with the Andrianoff quake, we're pushing, the envelope here.
All right. How many quakes have there been roughly since the first whiz-banger?
Well, there's been thousands so far.
Thousands?
Yeah, thousands. And these range from little magnitudes to magnitudes. The largest aftershock was 7.2. I don't have a moment magnitude for that one yet, but it occurred about 12 hours after the initial jolt. And there hasn't been any 6.0s yet, so it's been about a dozen, maybe a little more than a dozen 5s. About 4 or 5 dozen 4s. It's when earthquakes, aftershock sequences happen this fast, it's tough to get reliable information.
Are there any research centers out there, sort of isolated military outposts or anything at all there?
Oh yeah. There's the Adak Naval Station out there.
Adak, yeah.
Yeah, Adak. It's right there within the rupture zone.
Uh-huh. They'd be an interesting group to talk to right now, wouldn't they?
Well, I doubt if you'd get anything, it's national security. They're going to say, no damage.
We felt nothing.
Right. Oh, no, they felt it strongly,
yeah.
But no damage. I imagine over a period of a month or so, some information will come out that, those poor cinder walls were knocked flat or something. I don't know.
Yeah. How do we then tie that to when California falls in the ocean?
I don't know, but I got to tell you, Art, this has been real exciting for the month of June. We normally issue about 20 bulletins a month on an average, and for the first 10 days, I've issued 22 so far in the month of June.
Yes.
I mean, it's really coming unglued. April. Let me give you some numbers real quick.
Sure.
Okay, in January, there were 10 quakes measuring 6.0 or larger. Okay? In February, there were 20. In March, there were 15. In April, there were 7. May, there were 7. And already, in the month of June, there are 8 in the first 10 days. So what it kind of says is that February and March were kind of a high cycle. You know, if you look at earthquake cycles, you don't want to look too closely at them, but, you know, it's just kind of generally you can kind of arm wave and say, well, gosh, February there was 20 and March there were 15. That's pretty robust. But
when you track them this way, can you discern any pattern? Is there any pattern as far back as you can look? I don't know how far back you can look, but is there a discernible pattern?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, following April and May, I can say that definitely we're on an upswing of seismicity. It's there are things happening now that it's mind-boggling. And this is what like happened in 1995 when we had the most 6.0s ever recorded during a year. Now we got 192, and I know I left a couple of them out, and there could be over 200 of them once all the final analyses are done.
Yikes!
And that's impressive. That's really impressive.
What does history tell you about what will happen next? Will this be followed by something toward Japan, in Southeast Asia, or the Indian Ocean, South America, here? What?
You know, that's really hard to say. You know, you look at I've looked at some of the data, and it says that sometimes it gets, you know, seismicity starts ringing like a bell. The planet starts popping them off right and left. But other times, Art, it just gets quiet again, and it's just like the twig breaks and the forest gets quiet. But other times, it's like a herd of buffaloes running through.
And that's this moment. When will we get to the point? Do you think we'll ever get to the point, Charles, where, you know, as we get a weather forecast, as problematic as it might be regarding correctness for any given time, we'll get an earthquake forecast?
I hope so. I'm looking for that. I think that there's real good potential. There's some cutting-edge scientists working on a lot of different avenues for doing this. I think that the larger database we can put together, the more frequency. I mean, people are right on my tails. I mean, let me compare
it, Charles, to the weather. You know, when you watch the weather at night and they've got a tornado box, you know, they've computed where the hot and cold weather are going to clash, where conditions are going to be right, and they put a box in there and talk about violent weather, maybe with damaging hail, high winds, tornadoes. Couldn't we get to the point where a box like that could be drawn for earthquake probability?
I hope that sometime in the future we can get to that point. I really do. I think that you can see seismic gaps right now for certain areas, notably like the Hayward Fault.
Oh, yes, the Hayward Fault. A lot of people have been writing to me about the Hayward Fault. What's going on with that? A lot of people, of course, very concerned with Hayward.
Yeah, that's a very active area. I grew up near Hayward, so I've got some local interest there.
Huh.
And so it's really seismically, it's somewhat doing its normal thing. It's got a couple of minor quakes every now and again.
Someone sent me, I know what it was. I remember now. Somebody sent me a piece of email that said the Hayward Fault, which is normally just sort of sludging along at a slow pace, has been lunging. Did you hear anything about that?
Yeah, there was a creep meter. Now, creep meters they measure the soil displacement across the fault. You know, what's happening in the near surface, the real, you know, like 10 meters or so.
Right.
Top 30 feet. And usually this moves right after rainstorms. You know, you wet the ground gets wet, and then the friction gives way, and it kind of surges maybe a centimeter or two.
Sure.
I mean, a centimeter surge really isn't a whole lot, but what happened was there was something like 17 centimeters that surged during a brief 2 to 3 week period. Down near South Fremont someplace. I forget exactly where. But it was something like 2,000% over normal, and people got kind of concerned. One report said that a utility line, a water line, was fractured during this surge.
That's nothing people feel, though, because...
No, No. It's a real slow, perceptible process. But you talk to geologists, and they'll look at these gauges and monitors and just, like it's happening in almost real time, just jump up and down. But it takes a couple of days to actually occur.
Would you say that leads you to believe there might be seismic activity, or just the opposite, that there's movement so it won't lunge?
Well, personally, I look at that and I go, well, that's different than what happened before. Something's changed. And the top USGS seismologists are saying that the seismic shadow, which is kind of a strain shadow, was placed from the Loma Prieta earthquake in 1989.
Yes.
It kind of relieved the strain along the Hayward Fault, and so that it just didn't. All the creep stopped. All the micro earthquakes slowed down. But they're saying now that perhaps that shadow has kind of gone away, and we can expect to start seeing increased seismicity in that direction again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
And the Calaveras Fault, which is another offshoot of the Hayward, just a little bit to the east, is another one of equally high importance. It's got just as long a possible rupture zone, and it cuts through towns like Danville, Pleasanton, Sunol. Some areas which are heavily populated.
All right, I want to test your craziness quotient here. If you knew, this will be a several-part question. If you knew where there was going to be a 6.0 earthquake, and you knew for sure where it was going to be, and you knew where the exact epicenter was going to be, and you were certain of this, would you go stand on the epicenter?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah, I'd definitely be outside, though. I wouldn't be in any tall buildings.
I understand.
But yeah, if I could go outside, if I could be outside and an earthquake were to happen, it's exciting. It's exhilarating.
Now, I understand that because I chase storms, tornadoes. Now, this is a multi-part question. 6.0. Would you go stand at the epicenter at 7.0?
Yeah.
8.0?
Yeah.
Yeah. 9.
Well, I wouldn't be standing in a 9. You bet that. I think I'd take a seat and.
I wanted to see where your breaking point might be here.
I wouldn't want to be around any trees or any hillsides in a quake like that.
So you would increasingly then pick your point of observation more carefully.
Yeah. There's a key to that, Art.
Well, there are scientists who have predicted some earthquakes, sometimes successfully, and I wonder if they go stand on the what they conclude is going to be the epicenter and check it out. Yeah. All right, listen, Charles, hold on. I'll be back to you in just a moment. We've got a break here at the bottom of the hour, and again, we've got Charles here because there has been an incredible series of earthquakes in the Aleutian Islands, way out there. Here we go again. I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask Charles Watson, consulting geologist, a question in a moment. So if you've got something you would like to ask about earthquakes, now would be a good time to do it. All right, now back to Charles Watson. Charles, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So you would not care then to try your predictive powers, I take it, and tell us where or what you expect from here with this. In other words, more in the islands? Will it move around the Ring of Fire? What do you think?
Well, one of the good things about being in the public eye like I am is that I try not to do the predicting thing. I leave that up to Gordon and
sure,
some other people. And but what I do is I just kind of keep track of everything for everybody. And so that what I've been doing is just putting together one of the best archive resources around for earthquakes. It's the only private or corporate kind of thing that we've got going besides USGS. And what I do is I kind of review everything a little bit more, kind of gather information from a lot of different sources.
I really like your fax service.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
I get information from you, boom, just like that. By the way, this Aleutian quake, how deep was it?
Well, there have been two estimates, both of which are really shallow. USGS put it at about 6 kilometers. For a thrusting kind of earthquake, that's really shallow. I can't see those boys on a deck, staying on their feet. So, but the Harvard group put it at about 24 kilometers, which probably may be more realistic. Anyway, it ruptured 100 miles. Okay.
Wow.
It went about 100 miles, it's fairly outstanding.
Well, they can hear us very well out on A deck. I really, they can. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I don't know why I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try. I'm going to open my West of the Rockies line and restrict it to the Aleutians.
Oh.
Now, I've never even had, well, maybe I have had a call from the Aleutians. But it would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would love to get some first-hand reports from people that are out on the Aleutians.
This would have been felt how far away?
Probably a couple hundred miles, but, when you're out in the middle of the Pacific like it is, there's not a whole lot of establishments out there.
All right, let me try this. If you're west of the Rockies, everybody hang up, and let me hold my toll-free line open for anybody out in the Aleutians. I'm not sure this is going to work. Gee, can they call on the toll-free line? Yeah, they should be able to. Try it. The Aleutian Island chain only. And we'll see if a call can come through from there. I rather doubt it. Charles, are you there?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's...
I got some interesting stuff about this quake.
Oh?
One of the things that's really interesting is that it re-ruptured the same area that ruptured in 1986. Okay, and this is one of the... It's very strange that you get, a huge subduction zone like the Aleutian Islands to rupture in the same spot in about 10 years period. But what's really interesting is the same spot also ruptured back in 1965. 1957. And so this area, just right off the Andrianoff Islands, has just been a rocking and rolling kind of place. There are several other areas along the trench, along the Aleutian Islands that they have these seismic gaps that everybody thought, a lot of the seismologists thought that, if you're going to get a major earthquake, it's going to be in the Shumagon Islands, for example, or along the Alaska Peninsula, which last ruptured in 1938.
Is this, Charles, if you go way back, is this because the continents were connected and they're pulling apart, or what's the big picture?
Well, the big picture is that the Pacific Plate is just moving northward, just like it's moving northward off the coast of California and northern or central North America. It's moving northward and displacing rocks and pushing. So it's got to butt up against something. And what it has is the North America plate kind of just sticks out across the Bering Sea and kind of wraps around towards Siberia and down into Japan. And the Pacific Plate is it's being forced underneath the North American plate. And right in the Andrianoff Islands, something happens to the plate. It doesn't go down smoothly. There's a very strange transition in which it dives very shallowly and then it steepens up real radically. And there's a lot of seismicity related to that real steepening area.
All right, let's give it a try. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Where are you calling from, please?
Kodiak Island, Alaska. Art, how are you doing tonight?
Fine. Kodiak Island, huh?
We're at the beginning.
You're at the beginning of the Aleutians.
Pretty much.
What can you tell us?
Well, I do have some other information for you. We've actually had 3 earthquakes that began on Saturday, and the first one was 6.3, and then one Sunday evening at 8:03, and then one this morning. And I was just curious if it could be related to the volcano at Akutan in any way. And just want to let you guys know that.
Yeah.
Could it be?
I haven't heard from my buddies about volcanoes doing anything unusual. I imagine at the end of tomorrow we'll get some information on what's happening with the volcanoes. Because sometimes when you get big quakes, they do, like shaking a can of warm soda pop, they just go fizz. And
right, we had gotten some tsunami warnings here in Kodiak, but they had all been canceled, luckily. So It didn't generate a very big wave, about a 2-footer over there around Adak or so.
That's right, and it really dissipated quickly.
Yep. So we were lucky this time, but have to wait and see what happens.
All right, thank you. Let's continue to try to do that. Well, we got pretty close there. Well, without being able to forecast, Charles, as it's sort of whatever is going to happen, eh?
Well, you know something, Art? It's been really kind of interesting what's happening on the microseismic level. When you look at April and May, seismicity worldwide just dropped. Real large earthquakes just dropped like a rock.
Right.
There was nothing going on. But at the same time, microseismicity in North America increased substantially. Now, this is when we got the 4.7 San Jose earthquake. This is when we got the 5.4, 5.2 Duval earthquake in Washington. There was a 4.0 in Challis, Idaho, a 4.3 in the Wyoming-Idaho border. Yellowstone started picking up. Oh, and even interesting, for all your listeners on the East Coast, we have a map of the St. Lawrence Seaway, the seismicity in the upper New England, southeastern Canada. And the activity nearly tripled in that area during this time. And it's still active there. So, I mean, they've been getting little quakes over there in Maine and New Hampshire, and the western Quebec seismic zone has been quiet, but the upper St. Lawrence has been...
Oops. It looks like we lost Charles. So what I'm going to do here is take a very quick break. And I'm going to get Charles back online. I don't know how that happened, but it happens every now and then. The phone company just goes, that's it. Line finished. Click. So we'll be right back. All right, now, I believe that we've got him back again. Charles, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Sorry about that. Every now and then, as I said, the phone company just decides this line is no longer viable. Click. I think I may have somebody else in the ADAC chain. Let's find out. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi.
Where are you, sir?
Fort Moeller.
Where is that?
Well, it's one of the Fox Islands. I'm not sure the name of the island, actually.
Did you feel the quake?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, good shaker. We had a tsunami warning, which is a tidal wave. The Alaska Tsunami Warning Center made a big warning deal last night, but now it's like it never happened. It never came to pass.
Right. Have you had any word from any of the personnel over there on ADAC?
No, I haven't heard anything from it, other than what I hear on the radio, the news.
Right.
Where are you in the chain of islands?
Well, it's a little bit west of Dutch Harbor. They're the Fox Islands. I forget the name of the actual island. Is it Umnak?
Umniak.
Umniak, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, there's so many.
So you know where it'd be roughly, Charles?
Yeah, it's in the eastern portion of the Aleutian
chain. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we very much appreciate, and you say you did, you felt it go.
I woke up, and nothing wakes me up except your show.
All right. Well, we deeply appreciate the call, and keep your feet on the ground.
Yeah.
All right. See ya. There's again the Aleutians. We're getting the eastern portion of the Aleutians anyway.
They had a couple of quakes back there in Fox Islands about 2 months back, and then the Akutan volcano had a huge swarm. They thought that thing was going to go.
Really?
Yeah.
There have been a lot of volcanoes that have come right up to the edge, aren't there?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been interesting following the news on volcanoes. It's hard to get it, but it's every year it gets better and better as, worldwide internet services get better. Recently there's been a new program to get the Kamchatka volcanoes. And these volcanoes are very active, and they're steaming and smoking all the time.
Huh.
And that's now become almost a weekly report, in which is now available from the Alaska Volcanic Observatory.
What kind of causal relationship is there? Is there one between volcanic action and earthquakes? Do we know for sure, or do we guess?
Well, the most famous one is the Mount St. Helens one, I guess. You know, you have the 5.3 earthquake that causes the landslide.
Right.
And boom. And that's probably one of the most famous current earthquakes that shook a volcano into action. The Hawaiian Islands.
I guess I want to ask this. Do you think there is some sort of direct connection, or do you think it's a causal relationship? In other words, earthquake goes, it causes a rupture or the beginning of something in a volcano, or do you think there's some sort of direct connection with underground magma?
Well, it's kind of a symbiotic relationship, Art. Sometimes the volcano just gets active, and it produces earthquakes. Sometimes the earthquakes get strong. Other times, strong earthquakes cause the volcano to get active. You know, you remember the Mammoth Lakes thing, is that you can get swarms happening without really a lot of magma moving.
Could there ever be such a thing as a geological a domino falling? In other words, could it ever really get going and there would just be many, many severe things that would all set each other off in a ever-increasing sort of cascade?
Yeah, there's been some really neat articles coming out about cascade theory.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't read any. That was just a guess.
No, they call it cascade theory, and it's kind of like a zipper happening. Is that the fault kind of zips? You know, it kind of chugs and goes, and one quake kind of spurs on the next quake that spurs on the next quake that gets a big one going, and after a while, after it's all over and done with, you've got 300 miles of rupture.
Yeah.
And this is what they kind of fear for the San Andreas at some point in time, is that could it be possible that you get the huge mega quake? And I attended a prominent seismological association meeting in St. Louis back in the spring, in which this was a major topic. And it was the first time I'd ever heard the top-level seismologists discussing what they called M God Awful, which is the huge quake that everybody kind of doesn't want to talk about.
Yeah, doesn't want to talk about is right. But had what occurred in the Aleutians occurred in L.A., what would be going on today, just as a matter of interest?
Well, I think there'd be a lot of business opportunities going on. So it'd be a lot of havoc, I think. It'd be a very disastrous sort of affair for a lot of people, I believe.
All right. Well, I've watched the Orient. We went through a whole giant spate of quakes there, Japan, north of Japan, then down near the Indian Ocean, and even in South America, now in Alaska. So all these areas have been so active at various times, and yet the West Coast, even though it's had a couple minor or mid-level occurrences, really more minor, has not let loose. Are we due?
Oh, yeah. It's a good time to be into earthquake reporting, Art. I mean, from a geologist's point of view, this is really exciting.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Because it's happening now. This is what's going on. And it's, when I look at North America, when I look at the western coast of North America, even inland, in the Rocky Mountains region all the way to the East Coast, and I look at past seismicity patterns, it doesn't seem like they match. Something's gone really quiet. It looks like we should be having a few more of these 6s and 7s happening, but they're not happening. And so you tap your finger and go, when are they going to occur?
When it goes quiet, and it stays quiet for a long time in a particular area, is there more reason to be then concerned, do you think? Is that a reasonable assumption?
Yeah. Standard plate tectonics says that the plates are in constant motion, and so that you always have these plates that are moving, and they have to relieve the strain of, because they bind and they don't quite move, and they build up strain, and then they go.
Mm-hmm.
And so that process of building strain is always going on. Now, places like Parkfield or a famous place called San Juan Bautista along the San Andreas Fault.
I know where it is, yes.
They have active creep in which they get, a few dozen, 1s, 2s, and 3s each week. we've got a newspaper down there that we submit a seismographic to, and it's really exciting.
All right, listen, we've got to get going. And now I will get back to you as events dictate. This is very interesting in the Aleutians, though, Charles. I want to thank you for coming on. Tell people how to get involved with your fax setup. I love that.
Yeah, if they'd like to get a fax, they can call us at 1-800-852-2960 and request a fax bulletin. And we can send those out to them and see if they like those. We also do email.
All right.
They can go visit our webpage at www.seismo-watch.com, and they can leave me or our group a message that they'd like to receive these bulletins.
All right, but I really, really, really love your fax service. I mean, I get, boom, an earthquake occurs, and I've got a nice a drawing of the world geography, shows me just where it is and all the information about it. That's 1-800-852-2960, right?
That's it.
All right. Charles, I want to thank you for being here, and we're going to all watch this very, very carefully and see where it goes from here. And if it does go from here, we'll have you back on.
Talk to you the next quake, Art.
Take care, Charles. He's our earthquake reporter. He's a geologist, consulting geologist, Charles Watson. And when it shakes, he's here. That's sort of part of the show. So I thought I'd catch you up with what's been going on in the Aleutians. You never know.
The trip back in time continues.
The following is entitled The Clinton's High Flight. Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of truth and danced the lies of laughter's tainted wings. To the White House I've climbed and joined the tumbling troop of fatuous fools and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the motel-like obscurity. Hovering there, I've chased the shouted big lie along and led the eager Hillary through footless halls of air, down the long delirious depths of sleazy grace, where never eagle nor even bat flew. And while with empty, sinking mind I've trod the low trespassed sanctity of faith, put out my arms and kissed the lips of Marx. That's the Clinton's high flight. And somebody sent me a CIA license plate. It's really cool. This says, hello, Art. Of course you can put your nice new CIA license plate on your vehicle and drive around. Please bear in mind, though, you must first obtain a jet black four-door sedan. Then place your CIA license plate on the vehicle, and presto, you then have a choice of using a JATO when chased by a cop or leaving it home. However, you'll also need a genuine, unadulterated CIA get-out-of-jail-free card. Also, you must dress up in a black suit, black socks, and black tie. Don't forget the dark sunglasses. This should also allow you to carry automatic weapons, as well as a couple of grenades right there in the front seat of your untouchable black sedan as you drive around terrifying little old ladies and their dogs. Think about the publicity you'll generate, plus the new sinister wave of MIB, Men in Black reports, that you will be responsible for creating. Have fun, Dave. Well, somehow I just don't think it would be very impressive on my Metro. So I can't do it there. I'm not going to do it. And yeah, I guess the CIA plate on the Metro wouldn't carry much weight at all, even if I had the rest of the outfit, you know, the sunglasses and everything else. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello. Going once. Going twice. Gone. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hello, Art Bell?
That would be me.
This is Jeff in Houston.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, do you want some information about the Identity Christian?
We just had some.
Well,
what I would really like to know, Jeff, if you know something about them,
well,
is...
I myself am an Identity Christian.
I see.
Your National Socialist skinhead in Houston.
Oh, you're a Nationalist Socialist skinhead.
Yeah, I'm also an Identity Christian.
Identity Christian. How can you apply Christian principles to the concept of white supremacy?
Well, first off, one of the main concepts of Identity Christian is that the Jews are not God's chosen people.
Yeah, well, okay.
Because
whether they are or not, how are whites supreme?
Well, I wasn't calling to get into a religious discussion with you because you don't like Bible verses over the
Well, I mean, you're the one who started out with I'm a Christian identity person. All right, so you're a white supremacist.
Yes, I am.
Even a skinhead.
I'm a white separatist.
Well, now wait a minute. Now you moved away from that one pretty quick. Either you are a white supremacist, which means you believe the white race is supreme.
Well, I
superior.
feel if I move myself away from all non-whites, then who do I have to be superior over? So therefore, I'm a white separatist.
So, in other words, the only reason you like the other races here is so you can feel superior.
No, I don't
lord it over them.
I don't like the other races here, period.
You don't?
Yeah, and the race war is coming. But my point of the call was...
But if they were gone, then who would you hate?
Huh? I don't hate anybody except for the Jews for what they did to my Savior.
You hate the Jews.
Okay, my point of the call was, Art, was to contact Pastor Butler at the Church of Jesus Christ Christian Area Nations. And he could, you could maybe even have him as a guest on your show, like you did William Pierce.
But the whole thing sounds so totally ridiculous to me that maybe I should have him as a guest. Maybe I should, just to try and find out, again, thanks for the call, but I think you sort of self-destructed a little bit. Because it's my understanding that white supremacy, not separatism, but supremacy, is the ideology that they claim, and they apply Christian principle and doctrine to this. I don't know how. Guess they figure maybe God's white. You ever think about that? Whether God's white? What color God is? You really think God has a color? Oh yeah, lily white's got to be lily white, right? Oh, come on. Sheesh. How can people believe this stuff? And yet they do. Oh, they do. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Oh, hello, Art.
How are you?
Very good. Yeah, I'm calling from Talmadge, Ohio.
Oh, Talmadge, Ohio?
Talmadge, Ohio. Yeah, a little suburb between Cleveland and somewhere else.
Oh, very good.
Cleveland and the cows.
All right.
Yes. Yeah, these white supremacist dudes, I'll tell you what. I don't know what, if God is love, no one is supreme but the man who gave us love. What can you say?
Well, I don't know. I can't figure out this whole movement. The whole movement doesn't make sense to me.
This whole movement is based on a false premise.
And you know what? It may be getting worse, sir. I mean, this black church burning thing, if it's not a conspiracy, then it's even worse.
Well, you mentioned the other day, I was talking to your show, you mentioned Dr. Pierce.
Yes.
Who wrote that infamous book.
Yes.
Actually, I believe you probably read the book.
The Turner Diaries.
Yes. Yeah, which is, even in a editorial sense, it's very badly written.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing spectacular. I mean, if you want to talk about something like the CNN expose, which was done last week on the book, are you familiar with that?
Patriots and Prophets?
Yes, correct.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I think they kind of missed the point. They spent so much emphasis on how the book influences people in a negative way, as though this book, in other words, they gave the book more appeal than it probably deserves.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's, like I said, even as far as books go, and as far as the idea goes, both of them are nonsensical,
the problem with it is, sir, thank you, if you listen to Dr. Pierce, his delivery was literate, articulate, carefully presented, and just dangerous as hell because of all of the above. He is a brilliant man who, I hesitate to use the word evil, but that much intelligence directed to what I consider to be an evil end is particularly chilling to me. And I would bet that a lot of the rest of you heard it exactly and feel exactly the same way. First-time caller line, you're on the air.
Yeah.
Hello.
Howdy, this is Bear Paw from Big Lake, Alaska.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just got back from fighting fires and wondered if you guys heard about our fire up here.
Well, we talked a whole lot about it last week, as a matter of fact.
Oh, there, right?
Oh, yes, we did.
Who must not have been the people that were there, huh?
Well, obviously, the people who were fighting the fire at the time were fighting the fire and couldn't call. But we talked to people all over that area who were within, just a few miles of it or even closer. And
well, this is going to be something that's going to be hard to come out of my mouth, being an anti-government kind of person. I'm not a Freeman. I'm definitely a Portman now, though. We got burnt to the ground, but
I'm sorry.
That's not a sad thing because everybody did. You just don't feel the same.
Yeah. When
it happens to everybody. But,
let me guess, you're going to say something good about the government.
How'd you know?
Just a wild guess.
I was never, so disappointed in our local government. I mean, the guys that I thought, were in touch with you, they didn't do such a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But when those federal guys came and those, National Guard, I mean, it was just unbelievable. How friendly. I've never met friendlier people. I mean, you can't get into town to save your house. They're stopping you at the road and stuff. But
that's to save your life.
Yeah, and they are, I mean, this is unreal. I'm was as hostile as you can be as far as trying to be determined to get where I needed to go. But I mean, no matter what, these people were just friendly, understanding, explaining, honest. I have yet to hear, anybody deny anything. I mean, I just am shocked. And I like to just thank Clinton and all the, just all the people that came here. And I have to do a lot of rethinking of, what my idea of paying taxes were and a lot of things. I just like to thank a lot of those people.
Well, you know what? That's really good to hear. That's really good to hear, and I'm glad you called, sir. Government is not all bad, and not all government is bad. And it does do some things pretty well, and what it did in Alaska, it has done well. Actually, if the truth is known, this administration, in responding to disasters and troubles, has been, it's been very responsive. So, there's somebody who's very anti-government and just had a different kind of experience, and I'm very glad you called and said it. Because government is not all bad, and it's easy to perceive that it is. We'll be back in just one moment. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi, Art. This is Eric in Nashville.
Hello, Eric.
Hey, I had texted you a long time ago about the tornado in Van Buren.
Yes.
About, I don't know, I'd gone through there, and I just wrote you a note about, I don't know, how it was really bad. My fiancée lived there, and how bad it was.
Right.
Well, I went back and got married, and I went through the place, and she kind of toured me through the area that had been ravaged by the tornado.
Yes.
And it was unbelievable.
Yes.
I mean, you could see the path where it went down the mountain and right through these neighborhoods, and you could see the houses that were demolished. I mean, we went through one of the neighborhoods that got hit really bad. And I mean, houses just...
Matchsticked.
Yeah, matchsticks. I mean,
I know.
It was really weird because I was going through there, and there's all these houses that are just torn to bits, and they got, like, State Farm and then their, like, address on there because of the, so many, adjusters coming out or whatever and looking at it. It was just kind of a weird comment on, or just a weird sight to see something like that. And, just an amazing thing. It was like a vacuum cleaner had gone through there and hit it. And, I'd been gone for a while. I hadn't listened to you or whatever, but it was just an amazing thing to see the forces of nature.
I was about to say that. Mother Nature is amazing, and tornadoes are an amazing part of Mother Nature. And we unusually have most of the world's tornadoes right here.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Someone had asked a while back when you did this thing about whether or not there were tornadoes in Europe and in big cities.
Very rare.
And it was funny how I started thinking about how you just hear about it in the United States. I don't know, if they really have them in other places, but you just kind of hear about it here or whatever.
Yeah, very, very rare. Thank you. My friend Lynn sent me a tape with 2 hours of the most spectacular tornado footage, ever captured on film or videotape or whatever. It is a tape I will treasure. It took him a long time actually a lifetime to put together, and it is incredible. Just incredible. A wildcard line, you're on the air. Hello.
Art.
Yes.
How you doing tonight?
Okay.
This is the Reverend again from St. Paul. I hope I'm not annoying you calling so much, but I just love your show, and what I wanted to talk about is switches with every caller.
Is what?
The topic I want to talk to you about, like switches. The first I decide, well, maybe I should talk about the Kentucky Derby.
Oh.
Then someone will call up and say, well, and then I'm thinking, maybe I should talk about this. Maybe I should talk about that.
Yes. Well.
But anyway.
So what do you want to talk about?
Well, I just wanted to tell you something that I decided more. I've been meaning to write you a letter or a fax or something just about to tell you how you've influenced and motivated my life. And this is a thank you. I hope you don't, you know how to take compliments, don't you?
Not very well. But, but let's hear it. I'll try.
Okay. I just want to say thank you first off for opening my mind so much, and you've really influenced me in the direction to move in my life, being a young man at 24. And at first, you know, first with the quickening, you know, I
yes.
wasn't even aware of it until I started listening to your show. And now I see evidence of it all over, and including my life personally. I personally am going through some spiritual quickening, which I really don't understand. But, you know, it's been improving my relationship with what I perceive as God and increasing my understanding. And a lot of that has to do with you. A lot of it has to do with, you know, other things, too. But I've decided, Art, to put you in the honored position as my hero.
Oh, my.
Because you do, I mean, I've decided a long time ago that what I want to do with my life is three main things: educate, motivate, and entertain. Not only myself, but the public. And that's something you do for me and to millions of people every night. And I've long been in the opinion, ever since I started listening to you, I think I know you don't want to do TV, but I think we need someone like you to do TV.
Well, that's good. Let's find someone like me to do it then.
Yeah. And I guess I've decided I want to try. You know, I'm my local cable access station, I've put stuff on. So I think I'm going to start producing a show that deals with the same topics, and, you know, who knows, I probably won't even begin to get the level or the guests that you get on, because I realize that, you know, it takes someone to be established as well as you are to get those kind of guests on. But, you know, start small, cable access, and who knows, maybe in, you know, 5, 10, 15 years I'll get picked up by a network or go on to, you know, syndication or...
Well, that's how I did it.
Any advice you could give me about this?
Yes. Decide what it is you're going to do, and then don't deviate from that, and don't listen to any other of the million program directors that you're going to run into telling you that what you're doing is dumb and will never work. That's my advice. In other words, stick to your original founding principles.
Focus and
that's right.
Don't change my mind.
That's right. Focus.
Thank you, Art.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Take care.
All right. Have a nice day.
All right. That is my advice. That's what I've done. Follow your own, you know, it sounds like something out of the Wizard of Oz or something, but follow your original founding principles. Television, radio, really with any endeavor, it doesn't have to be in the broadcast field, with any endeavor, if you form a company dedicated to quality, then no matter how you grow, you've got to find a way to continue that dedication to quality, and if you do, you will succeed. It is as simple as that. And generally, when people tell you that you can't do what you're doing, if you know they're wrong, then don't listen to them. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is begin to listen to people who think now that you've achieved some level of success, they are sure they know what you should do. Well, they don't. You know what you should do. You've always known, so keep doing it. That is my advice, and we'll be right back.
This is Premier Networks.
Associated Press article, headline, Huge Quake Rattles Aleutians, No Damage. It was a huge earthquake, and there have been many, many aftershocks. The Aleutians are really shaken. And in the first hour, we had a geologist, Charles Watson, on, talked about it. Interesting. Wonder where it goes from here. He can't tell us. Maybe one of these days, huh? West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning. Ralph, we're not allowed, we're going to have to start all over again. The only rule we have here is you're not allowed to put your last name on the air.
Okay.
So let's try it again. You're calling from Joshua Tree, and you're Ralph.
Okay. My name is Ralph. I'm from Joshua Tree.
Right. Yes?
Okay, and you just mentioned something about the earthquakes that we've been having. We had an earthquake here in Joshua Tree, if you remember, about a 7.2 or so.
I recall it, yes.
Okay. Afterwards, we had a severe smell of sulfur that had come up for a few days, and we were all wondering what it was, and the authorities said it was from the Salton Sea, and it had come over up into the upper desert up here, and it had dissipated after a couple of days. But we had, a lot of us knew about it. And
yeah, it's better than thinking you're about to become a volcano.
Correct. And I just wanted to bring it to attention that they just had that similar situation happen in L.A. Down there by Burbank in the Glendale area. Of a smell where they were also looking for the cause of it and weren't able to find it, and after a few days again it disappeared. And I wanted to bring it to the attention that to everybody's attention that after an earthquake, I do believe that there are gases that are released, and the sulfur smell that they had encountered is somewhat similar to what happens after an earthquake in a volcanic area. That's one question. Another, thing that I was thinking about was the church situation. I do believe the government is correct in their belief that there isn't a conspiracy, because the situation that I was involved with the L.A. burnings, where the riots became very...
The L.A. riots, sir, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what the situation is where they retaliated against a lot of the shop owners that were not blacks and saw that they had been rebuilt basically through the government, aids and things like that and loans. I think that it's a possibility. I don't know if you can reflect on this or not, but I think, is it a possibility that they are doing it themselves?
I don't think so, no. I don't think so at all. I think that's ridiculous myself.
Okay.
Okay? All right, thank you very much. And I know that there are those out there that are suggesting that, and of course the FBI, that was one of the complaints I think a lot of the pastors were making yesterday in the news conference, was that the FBI was treating them as though they had been doing it and had been having them take lie detector tests and that sort of thing. Do I think the blacks are burning their own churches? No, I don't. And of those who have been arrested thus far, have any of them been black? No. They're not. So, that's my answer. No, I don't think so. I don't think these pastors are torching their own churches, nor any of the congregation. I think these things are obviously racially motivated, and those arrested so far have had apparent racial motivation. If it is not a conspiracy, and it's a general trend, then we're really in trouble. Really in trouble. I would much rather believe it to be a conspiracy. Sick. Besides, what do people think they're going to do? It's like the guy who sent me the fax. What do people think they're going to achieve with this? What's more likely to tick you off than anything else in the whole world? Somebody burns your church. I don't care what you believe in or what your religion is. Whether you're Jew, whether you're a Christian, whether you're Muslim, I don't care what religion you are. What's more likely to get you up to fighting speed than burning your church or your place of worship? It's ridiculous. it's going to have the exact opposite effect, of course. It's the very worst thing you could do. Unless your intent, of course, is to create some sort of race war. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hey, surprised to get through to you. Only rang 3 times this time.
Well, you can get lucky.
Got a comment about the white supremacist Christians.
All right.
I've born and raised in the South, and have a strong reason to believe that my father was a Klan member. And it gives me cold chills when you laugh at the idea, because I don't know if you realize it, but most of your Klan members, historically and currently, are Christians who believe that they're chosen by God to clean the country up.
Oh, I'm not laughing at it. I'm disgusted by it.
But
I'm disgusted by it. I mean, how can you believe whites to be all supreme and then at the same time be a good Christian? Or
it doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it.
Right.
But when the church bombings in Birmingham in '67, I think it was, I've forgotten the year, my father almost threw me out of the house because I had the audacity to be disturbed that children were killed in church.
Really?
I mean, he was so pleased with what had happened and so upset with me.
Oh my God!
That he would have hit me. Somebody had to hold him back physically and tell him, she doesn't understand. Thank God I never understood.
Well, let's talk about the Unabomber for a second. You remember Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber? His brother, as you know, turned him in.
Yeah.
And you must have had similar thoughts and been troubled in a similar way. I mean, to imagine your dad was a Klan member, might have been out doing some of this stuff.
Thank God I didn't realize it until after he was dead. It didn't all come together for me until, I was an adult. That's why I say probably. I'm not sure. I just remember as a small child, he took me with him a lot of times in the evening when he would go and get together with a bunch of his friends. And I remember some of the comments I heard and some of the attitudes, which were definitely very, very strongly
racist.
Anti-black, very racist. And I remember, a couple of things that I was with him at, nothing as obvious as a cross burning, of course, that looking back on it now, I think these must have been Klan meetings, not, the hood and robe kind of making a point thing, but, just getting together and chewing the fat kind of thing.
No, I understand.
And
where are you? What part of the South?
Okay, I'm in Georgia, but at that time I was born and raised in North Alabama, Coleman County.
Right.
And when I found out that was one of the places of one of the largest Klan training grounds some years ago, it sort of fell together, and I realized, oh my God. And the irony of it is my mother is part Cherokee, who was born and raised in, this general area, which means historically the way the Cherokees survived after the march west was to mix and live with the blacks in the area.
Of course.
So historically, the chances of her not having some black ancestry are slim and none.
Well, how did your dad reconcile that? Do you know?
I don't know. I never spoke with him about it and wasn't aware of this while he was alive. He died in 1971. And so, I don't know. I was only 15 when he died and never confronted him with a lot of these things because I didn't, it just didn't fall together for me until after he was gone.
Is your mother alive?
Yes, she is.
Have you ever talked to her about it?
We don't talk about Daddy. My folks divorced before,
I see.
Earlier, and my father wound up with custody. And Mother, she went through a period of alcoholism and, a lot of problems. And she remembers less about the time than I do, which is not much. I laugh. It's not funny. But,
no, it's not. But I really appreciate your call, and we will continue with this topic. No, it's not. There's nothing funny about it at all, except the irony of it, to me. With my, no doubt, as some of you would describe, limited understanding of Christianity, how it would fit together with white supremacist beliefs. I don't compute that. I don't think many Christians would. It's an amazing thing that they can mix the two. And apparently believe that God looks on white people in some favorable superior way. How do you come to believe these things? I wonder. I mean, no matter what you might cite in the way of a study about this or that or the bell curve or anything else, you would have to look at then the apparent superiority of Asians over whites intellectually. How would you account for that? I mean, the whole thing is just ridiculous. So much time in America now appears to be wasted hating. And for anybody to imagine that they would achieve anything, like in the facts, quote, keeping the niggers in their place, end quote, that's insane. The only thing you do when you burn somebody's place of worship is get them going. And make them very, 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 very angry. That's, it's the equivalent of stomping on the flag or something to a patriot. You don't do that. It's a war cry. You'll end up with a race war. Maybe that's what this is all about. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Is this Art?
Yes, turn your radio off, please.
It's off. Okay, well, I'm calling from Seattle, and I got a couple of questions. One, I wanted to ask about Bill and his demon seeds.
Well, they're not here yet. The only seeds I received are 500-pound pumpkin seeds.
500-pound pumpkin seeds. That's good.
Well, no, he claims it.
Also, your guest you had last week talking about the churches and taxing them.
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to figure this one out. He was talking about he thinks he has a sound constitutional ground for that.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
How? How does he figure that?
Well, did you listen to the show?
I listened to part of it, and quite honestly, the guy made me so mad.
I see.
Because he's constitutionally speaking of taxing the church.
Well, had you listened to the show, then you would have understood his argument.
I can't see it though, in that taxation of a church would be the state getting involved in a church problem, or, well, not problem, but the church's business. And in the Constitution, our founding forefathers made mention of the fact that separation of church and state was the church will not run the state, and the state will not run the church. Mm-hmm. You tax the church, that's the state running the church.
All right. Well, that's your argument. That's fine.
I mean, for every single argument he brought up of a church being a scam,
mm-hmm.
I can run out right now and probably find you, I'm in Seattle, my name's Paul. I can find you 50 churches that aren't a scam, that are doing good for me and the community.
I wouldn't argue with you, Paul.
So, if our country's coming down to that, I want to move. And
you want to move?
Maybe I agree with the Freeman. Or maybe not the Freeman, but that type of a group.
Mm-hmm. All right, Paul. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your call and your opinion. I would be careful about mixing your opposition to the taxation of churches with agreement with the Freeman, but I understand the way you feel. And frankly, I didn't say that I agreed with him, that it is a good idea. As a matter of fact, frankly, I thought he had carried a grudge, and I still believe that, incidentally. Even now, having interviewed him and spent a lot of time with him, I felt what came out was a very deep-seated resentment, anger, and ongoing grudge. But that is what you would have discerned, Paul, had you listened to the entire program. I want to talk to you for a second about cyber snobbery. That's what I call it. There is now this great undercurrent of hatred that's going on between people who use Prodigy, AOL, CompuServe, people who are on the chat services, the different providers, the web people, and they're all in contention with each other, and everybody else's service is junk. And I wonder why that's going on. I wonder why the people who are more deeply involved in the Internet, for example, turn up their noses at people like AOL. And AOL is bringing a lot of people into cyberspace who otherwise would not come. It's kind of like with amateur radio. We get people involved in ham radio by getting one of the early licenses, a no-code license or a novice license or something that is relatively easy to get in the beginning and easy to use and doesn't require you to be a rocket scientist to participate. And so it brings people into the hobby, just the way AOL and some of the other services bring people into cyberspace, and then they move on from there. But why is there this great rivalry, and a very nasty one at that, in the cyber world right now? I call it cyber snobbery. And there's hatred that spews from these people. Whatever it is they're on is the right thing, and everything else is wrong and or, if not, evil. It's an interesting phenomenon. Cyber snobbery, I'm going to call it. West of the Rockies. Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hey, Art, it's Aaron from Elk Grove, California.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got to tell you that, boy, is it ever much more pleasurable to listen to the show than to try to get through and talk.
Well, I'm sure that's true. I appreciate your trying to get
and,
through.
And it's become a horrible obsession for me, and I have to find out what's going on with Hale-Bopp. For some reason, I haven't heard anywhere except for on your show about it.
Well, it's still coming. It will put on the show of a lifetime in less now than a year.
Really?
Yeah. Around March. I think around March of next year.
And this will be something that we'll just be able to, with the naked eye, or?
Oh, yes.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see it. Let's go. Yeah, I'm just curious because, like NASA, or you don't hear anything. Nobody has covered Hale-Bopp but you, and I'm tired of Chupacabra and wanting to hear about Hale-Bopp.
Well, what do you want to know about Hale-Bopp? I mean, it's gonna smack right into Earth, right? You heard that, of course.
Yeah, I think it's heading for Central California, or is that Southern California? What part of California are we in?
All right, thank you, sir. Well, I don't know what to tell you about Hale-Bopp. It's coming. It will be a major comet. Somebody sent me a fax earlier. Said, "Hey, have you heard Hayakatake has turned around and it's headed for Earth?" People send me the damnedest things. Comet turned around. Comets don't turn around. They don't cut U-turns in space. First time caller line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, turn your radio off.
Sorry.
Please. That's all right. Turn it off.
It's off.
That's good. Where are you?
Columbus, Ohio.
All right, welcome.
Enjoy the show. I can't believe I got through. My arm is sore, but I'll get over it.
I'm glad.
Well, the church burning thing.
Yes.
You know when I think about I agree completely about what you were saying about the people that combine this alleged love for God and this hate.
And
the two are contradictory.
Well, if not even hate, yes, born of feelings of superiority. In other words, we are white, we are right, we are closer to God than anybody else, and we are Christian.
And I think it's based on a weakness.
Well,
and fear.
Fear.
They're cowards.
Key word is fear, I think.
Yeah, the Ku Klux Klan, the skinheads, the white Aryan, they're all cowards. That's what I think.
Why do you think it's on the increase? That's the important question.
Boy, that's a pretty scary question. For the same reason that I agree with you that I'm also nervous that...
Listen, I've got a break. I've got to do the news. Do you want to hold on?
I'd love to.
All right. In Ohio, you are holding, and we'll be back.
The trip back in time continues with Art Bell hosting Coast to Coast AM. More somewhere in time coming up.
Live, unscreened, unpredictable talk radio in the nighttime right here, and we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. I've got a caller holding on line one, so let me take care of business here. You're on the air. Hi.
Art.
Yes, sir. You're back on the air again.
Okay. We were talking about all the hate nonsense.
Yes.
You know, it's you know, you see it at the grocery store. You see it when you're driving. You see it not everybody, not everywhere, but too much. I think hate is a learned behavior.
I have to absolutely agree with you. I guess it's learned. And what I really want to know is what has changed? Why is it increasing? We really need to find out about that.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I really loved your first hour guest. I'd like to be on one of those number 8 earthquakes with him.
Number 8. Oh, you mean you'd go stand there too?
Oh, sure.
Well, you're as crazy as he is.
Well, I also am like you. I love violent weather.
Yeah.
I was in a tornado in Indiana about 15 years ago.
You know, the thing about tornadoes is you can run away from tornadoes.
Yes, that's true. You can, but you can't. That's a good point.
But I'll tell you, when you're standing at ground zero with regard to an earthquake,
yeah,
you wouldn't want to stand there again.
I've never been in one. I was laying in bed when that one hit St. Louis in '88, but it just kind of shook things a little bit.
Charles is a very unusual person.
Oh, he was hysterical.
All right, thank you. Well, it's nothing like someone devoted to what they do. Now, let me prove my point, all right? I just talked about cyber snobbery. So what did I get? I got a list from my friends on the IRC chat channel, of which I cannot read all of them, but listen to this. Art, here is a top 20 list for the uses of AOL, that's America Online, AOL CDs from the listeners on IRC. 20. Futuristic money. Paving stones for Tim Leary's driveway. Targets for your SKS rifle. Sharpen the edges and make nice ninja throwing weapons. Boogie boards for chipmunks. Pizza slicer. You can never find one when you need one. They would slice pizzas, I suppose. Water skipper toys for the kids. Neato hood ornaments. Landing pads for those miniature UFOs, and on it goes. Hey, look, more Roswell parts. Bicycle reflectors. Inexpensive earrings for your wife's birthday. This is the kind of thing that I was talking about. The exact thing that I was talking about. Now, why is there so much cyber snobbery and rivalry? And I don't understand that. All of it is fun. I very much enjoy AOL. I always have. It is convenient. It is easy. It gets people into cyberspace who otherwise wouldn't know what the hell they're doing, who eventually then will move on to other providers or stay with AOL or whatever they're going to do. But AOL is just part of it, and it's a good part of it, and without it, there wouldn't be nearly so many people involved. So, I don't get why this is all going on. And you know where I am right now? I am in the Grassy Knoll chat room on AOL. If you would like to join me there, you are welcome to do so. Just go on AOL and go to keyword and hit keyword Art Bell. ARTBELL. It'll take you to the Grassy Knoll chat room. That's where I am. You'll see me in there. So, come on in. Maybe somebody there can tell me why my new 3.0 won't print my email. That's what I really want to know. Now, west of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Marty from Anchorage.
Hi, Marty.
KNI Radio.
Of course.
GMOM.
Yes, sir.
I'm just calling to say we're getting rain here in Anchorage, so that's good for the firefighters.
That sure is good.
We did not feel the earthquake in Anchorage, but I understand that they felt it quite a ways up the chain. I have to agree with your guest earlier in the show today. I've been through several earthquakes, ranging from closer than I care to admit to an epicenter when I was in Japan at a 6.8 10 years ago. Fascinating to feel the earth move.
It is, but I don't think that I'd race to the center of one.
I was far enough away that it gave me a pretty good jolt and woke me up. It did some damage in the northern part of Japan in that one that I was closest to, and yeah, I don't think I'd want to be much closer than that.
Well, there you are. All right, sir, I appreciate your call. Thank you. If you're crazy about something, though, I do understand that. If you're crazy about something, You want to be there. No matter what the repercussions would be, you'd want to be there. And I suppose that would apply to an earthquake, if you are fascinated by them. It's like chasing tornadoes. Dear Art, I don't know any white supremacists, thank God, but there is a question I have always wondered about. How do these superficial people who place so much emphasis on the color of one's skin deal with serial killers who also have white skin? White skin didn't make Ted Bundy, the hillside strangler whose name I can't recall at the moment, Robert Alton Harris, superior. I can't think of anything more stupid than have to feel superior in order to feel like somebody. I think all these supremacists should get a life. That's Veda in Whittier, California. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, this is Carol in Oklahoma City.
How you doing, Carol?
Fine. Am I on the radio?
Well, I sure hope so.
Okay.
First of all, you should turn it off or you'll be all confused.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
I did turn it. I got in. Okay. I have a request, for a guest.
Who would that be?
Somebody who could try to explain quantum physics from the basics.
Well, that sounds like you need a college course, not a guest.
Well, yeah, I have some books, but okay. The other thing is I went through this real weird thing of I got some organophosphate poisoning.
You got what?
Organophosphate poisoning.
What the hell is that?
That's what I wanted to know. It's like an insecticide, or it was an insecticide.
What were you doing? Eating insecticide?
No, we bought this old house, and I was in the back shed and cleaning it up. Long story short, it fell over.
I see.
Anyway, I had this broom, and I looked up, and everything was just all foggy. I don't remember even getting back to the house.
Wow.
But when you talk about, I keep hearing you talk about the quickening, and I never quite got it. But I went through, I had a near death. I never believed in that, but it was, anyway. I went through what I call a lot of hallucinations. And when I came out of it,
Yes?
the main thing, the main message I got was that the world, whatever, is moving faster.
The world, whatever, is moving faster.
The universe. It's like you say, the quickening. But
well, you got that from toxic poisoning?
No.
You were toxically poisoned, and then you got a message from beyond. And the world, whatever, is moving faster. That's what I got from that. Interesting. Pesticide prophecy. West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hi, Art. Nonpartisan Tim in San Diego.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Someone said it, I don't know who, but it was something to the effect of, why do I need to hate groups of people when there are so many good reasons to hate people individually? And these bigots, I hate them.
Well, it seems like there's more and more of them.
I don't know if there's more and more, but they're just getting more obvious, coming out in the open.
Why do you think that is?
The quickening, of course.
Well, that's a very general, non-specific term for a lot of things that are going on. That it is insufficient to explain why people are hating more.
Well, I don't think they're hating more. I think they're just showing it more.
Maybe that's true. All right, thank you. For the people on AOL who are trying to help me out with my printer problem, I mean, figure this one, guys. I can print the news, Reuters. That prints fine, but my email doesn't. Now, I can't for the life of me imagine what would cause that discrepancy unless it was just some little thing on AOL. They were talking about printer drivers and everything, but it wouldn't be that, not if it prints the news. If it prints the news, it ought to print whatever text is up there, so how could it be email specific? That's really weird. West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hi, Art.
Hello.
Yeah, I had you on my mind today when I said into the president's ear, what do you know about UFOs? And he was in San Diego today.
Oh, somebody asked the president that?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
You actually got close enough to ask him that?
Yeah, very close quarters in Hillcrest, which is known to be the gay area of San Diego. Early morning, just a very close crowd there.
Mm-hmm.
And
so what did the president say to you?
He said, he smiled, he said, turned to his Secret Service, said, UFOs, and that's all.
And the Secret Service guy probably made a note, and another guy at a distance focused his telescopic lens and took your photograph.
And I made sure, talking to a little old lady in the crowd, that I mentioned your name out loud.
That's good. And so then they probably said, Art Bell again, huh? There's another check mark.
Yeah, and to the local TV station, KNSD, Art Bell, that's the reason why I asked it. So that's all he said. And I think he was relieved.
Well, they already know about me, but see, the problem for you is, now they know about you.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Okay, but that's all. I was thinking of you when I asked.
This means it doesn't matter. It means for you, sir, a visitation.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
All right. They've long known about me. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. No, I didn't push the button. There you go. East of the Rockies, now you're on the air.
Hello?
Hello?
Now let me turn this off. Fair enough?
Got it off?
Yeah, it's off.
That's good.
Okay. I wanted to ask you a question. I'm not exactly too politically read, and maybe you can answer it for me, okay?
I'll try.
Do you think that the people who found the Whitewater papers, which mysteriously popped up, and the people who mysteriously found these Travelgate papers, which mysteriously popped up, do you think those two incidences, outside of them mysteriously popping up, are related?
Are you talking about the papers that were mysteriously found in the White House?
Right.
Do I think they're related to what?
The FBI saying, "Hey, we made a mistake," and this soldier requested. No. Those papers mysteriously popped up too, you know.
Yes, but no, these two things I do not believe are related.
See, it sounds like to me that all of a sudden a lot of paperwork is suddenly popping up, and that's too coincidental for me. That's what I'm saying.
Well, this report, this security business, this either enemies list or innocent mistake, whatever you want to call it, was done very early on in the administration, and it has just been found out about it. Has no relationship to the Whitewater papers.
Makes you want to think what else is...
However, I think they ought to check the fingerprints. The FBI ought to dust them quick.
Before more fingerprints, which shouldn't be on there, suddenly pop on there?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I mean, they said... Now, from what I've heard, thank you, they said they sent the papers back to the FBI, right? So, presumably, these papers are in FBI hands right now. And absolutely, they ought to go over them and look and see whose fingerprints they find. If all they find is a low-level military guy, then fine. If they find other fingerprints, then, well, it could be a bit of a problem. West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hey, Art Bell.
Hey, yes.
Calling from Calabasas.
Hi there.
Hi there. I just got in. I didn't hear the first part of your show, but to change the subject for a second, what did you think about the Belmont Stakes?
Well, I thought that I had a caller who called it.
Yeah, I was listening to that.
Did you put any money on editors?
No, but I was trying to get through to Art Bell's OTB that same night that he was on, and
I see.
Let him know that I'd heard him say that I was in horse racing for a few years. And so that caught my ear. I think that was pretty interesting.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Also, about that, about Dr. Pepsi, or
Yes.
almost Dr. Pepsi.
Yes.
I was just wondering why you put that lady Nancy on. She was so antagonistic. Why you would have actually called her to let her grind her axe.
Because she sent a fax, and she was grinding an axe, and I wanted to hear what happened would happen when she ground her axe on Ms. Pepsi, and so I heard.
Yeah. She found some chinks in her armor, I'm afraid. But that was an interesting show. I liked Dr. Pepsi or Ms. Pepsi, or it was very interesting. She was right a lot of the time, whether it's a science or not.
I know.
And that's as much of a science as I don't really know that much about it, but SciTech.
Yes.
I find that just the name of his company far more misleading than Pepsi Tolgar. When he speaks of
why do you find
remote? Because he speaks about remote viewing as technology, and when I first heard that 19 minutes the first night,
yes,
I understood that I was listening to when he said technology, I thought I had never heard of remote viewing, and I thought he meant satellites and actual technology when it wasn't technology at all.
No. Now, the government had a 20-year program.
But was it actual technology and science, or was it like Ms. Tolgar's theory?
Well, they view it as
with some degree of accuracy, I might add.
Well, they claim a great degree of accuracy, as a matter of fact.
But they also claim technology. Is there actual technology involved?
Well, no, it's not machine technology, if that's what you mean.
But, I understand that these people are trained psychically or telepathically.
Yes?
But that can't really be a science either. That's never exact. To some, they might have some degree of accuracy.
Well, yes, they have a great degree of accuracy.
And so I don't understand why they pick on Pepsi Tolgar when that went completely unnoticed, where his is a much more, the consequences to his prophecy or prediction, even though, I believe that the environment is in grave danger and everything, but just the way he said, no, there's no chance. It was like, you know what I think? I think he bought a bunch of property in New Zealand, and when everybody makes their exodus, he's going to sell it all to them at high prices, and he's going to buy up all the property in Beverly Hills.
Well, maybe you're right.
I hope.
Who knows? All right, thank you. Look, I can't substantiate the claims that are made, but the government apparently felt that there was sufficient a reason to believe there was something to it to continue a program for 20 years. And he was in that military program. So, take these things always with a grain of salt. Take them with a grain of salt, and they are presented that way. A controversial and unusual things are presented for you on this program, and you can accept them, reject them, embrace them, file them away, do whatever you want with them. And so it is with Major Dames. I, however, personally attach some credibility, credence, belief, I said, in what he had to say and what he has to say. And I think that you should listen and decide for yourself. First-time caller line, you're on the air. Hi.
All right. I never realized before that you were automatically disconnected after so many rings.
Well, that's phone company.
But, anyway, my name is Lewis. I'm from San Diego. I've been listening for a while, but this is the first time I've called. I'm a graduate student at San Diego State, and, I just wanted to, put this out there, maybe get a little feedback from your listeners, and, see if anybody has seen anything strange in the area around Gordon's Well. Are you familiar with that area? It's along Highway 8.
I am not.
Okay, well,
what did you see, sir?
Well, I didn't see this.
Who did?
But a person that is, in my opinion, unquestionably honest.
Saw what?
Saw a triangular yellow shape glowing and hovering over the sand dunes out there at Gordon's Well. And made absolutely no noise
Well, I know about triangular things that make no noise, but the one I saw was black, not yellow. Yellow would be an interesting color, wouldn't it? We're going to break here at the bottom of the hour. Good morning, everybody. Good to be here. If you'd like to join us online, you're welcome to do so. We're in a chat room on AOL. Just go on AOL and hit keyword and type Art Bell, ARTBELL, and then go into the grassy knoll chat room. There I am. So, join us if you will. There is an ongoing discussion of many things in there right now. And east of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning. Going once, going twice, gone like the wind. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Well, I think people all in America should sit back and see. I just got my citizenship about 3 or 4 years ago for the United States, American citizen.
Yes.
And people should sit back and read our Constitution, especially a lot of Americans, because they don't. I know a lot of Americans don't know the Constitution that well. But what makes us one great nation is all the people in this country: blacks, whites, Chinese, Russians, Italians, and that's what makes us one great nation, one diverse nation. And I think,
well, what I think is some people want a race war, is what I'm beginning to conclude.
Yeah, and that's really scary. I've heard people talking about that a while back, about 2 or 3 years ago, and I kind of thought it was, far-fetched, but now it looks like, to me, it's believable. And the Freeman deal, I think the Freeman better just pretty much give up, because that's a very dangerous situation. And you know how why I think our government is having so many problems is because our government is like turkeys. Our government's represented by the American eagle. And you ever looked at an eagle, Art?
Occasionally.
They look real mean and they're powerful, and I think our government's showing a weakness now, and it could be dangerous if we wait too long. I think we've waited a little too long now. I mean, it's good to be patient and everything, and I'm sure they've been cautious, but we don't want to have our government look like turkeys, and that's eventually what our bird's going to be. It's going to be changed back to the original bird, which was the turkey.
So. All right, sir. I appreciate the call. Thank you. Well, a lot of people are beginning to feel that way. I don't know. It's a hard call. On the one hand, you don't want to do anything rash, and you don't want to precipitate something that will result in the use of deadly force when the crime doesn't justify that. But on the other, there has to be the rule of law, and there cannot be the rule of, if I don't pay my mortgage, if I write hot checks, if I do this or do that, I can get away with it because I can claim I'm a patriot and have a gun. And so there will be fear on the part of the government. And I feel that these men in Montana are hiding behind the patriot movement. Not very effectively, and the longer it goes on, the less effective their claims are in this regard. Now, maybe that's why the FBI is letting it go on, but there is a danger. And that is that people elsewhere will copycat it. They will conclude it is the way to keep the government away. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi, Art. This is Dave in Madison, Wisconsin.
How you doing, Dave?
Pretty well. I enjoy your program a lot.
Thank you.
I'm calling concerning the Kingdom Identity movement.
Yes.
I'm a historian and an anthropologist, and I thought maybe I could answer some questions about it or discuss it with you.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Well, I was just wondering if I could debate a caller, or if I could answer some of those questions. I don't really have a statement, but.
Well, I don't know what. I don't even understand what your position is yet.
I'm just, have an interest in it. I've studied it quite a bit, so.
Really? Are you a white supremacist?
No, I'm not. But I'm a Christian, but I think the Kingdom Identity movement is just it's a doctrine. It's a way of interpreting the Bible, and it's a kind of a subcurrent throughout Christianity and certain sects, like in certain Protestant and Catholic, sects of Christianity throughout ever since the time of Christ, really, it's been a movement with it. It's not a new thing.
All right, well, it's a growing thing, apparently. It's a growing thing, and I believe these church fires are, there was one pastor yesterday during the news conference who suggested this is a tinderbox. It's beginning to get to be a tinderbox, and it is. It surely is. If this is a general movement in this country, we've really lost it. We have really lost it. I'm not sure what's happened to America, but whatever it is, it absolutely is not good, is it? West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi. Going once. Going twice gone. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yeah, hi Art, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Good. The Christian identity people, twice I've noticed when they called, they always say there will be a race war, but then you never go into it. I would like to know exactly what they're talking about. I think the church burnings are, these kind of things can cause the race war, and I want to know what they mean when they say they actually know there will be a race war. I think a debate between them would be very good.
Oh, you do, huh? Do you think there's going to be one?
A race war?
Yes.
Well, if they say so, and churches are being burned, and the blacks, who wants their church burned, no matter what race you are, there could be a connection. They seem to think there's going to be one.
Yep.
How do they know? Why do they know? What's going on?
All right, thanks. Well, if we get somebody inclined toward admitting they are a white supremacist and want such a war and are promoting the idea of such a war, maybe we will have such a debate. But I'm not over it. All these Christians who think that that the white race is superior. How they come up with that? How they can mesh in some twisted concept of Christianity into that belief system is amazing to me. First time caller line, you're on the air.
Hey, Art, how you doing?
Okay.
I work at a station, and I'm a board op for your show sometimes.
All right.
And I just wanted to add something in on this thing about the racists.
Sure.
Okay, I had friends at one time that were racist, and now find themselves in jail for murder. Now, I don't really have that close a connection with them, but I do know what they had said, like, actually why they didn't like other races. They thought they were pure and everything, being white. We never really got onto subject of being a Christian or other, but I am.
Why is purity, or how is purity determined by skin color?
I don't understand their thinking, Actually, they're kind of infantile in their thinking. The people that I knew, at least. Now, these other racists that stand up and they're all truly smart, but they really don't know what they're talking about, because being pure has nothing to do with color, Christians, if you're a true Christian, you do not believe in separation or different colors, one another hating each other, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Christian faith is about love, for one another, and it goes directly through the race line.
Well, that's what I always thought. Thank you. So then how do you account for this strange combining of ideologies? Racism, superiority, Christianity. I mean, how do you get all that together? East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Yeah, listen to KSD out of St. Louis. My name is Andrew.
Yes, Andrew.
And I want to bring up the subject of the same-sex marriage. I've been sort of near to some of the radical members of the gay community, especially some that belong to or believe in the group called NAMBLA, the North American Man Boy Love Association.
I know of it, yes.
And they are looking forward to having to adopt young boys, and that upset me very much when they were discussing that.
Well, I imagine it would. I mean, that's also another
and
totally...
even some of the ones, They said they wanted to bring them their children up gay. They said, what's wrong with that? They said that they felt there'd be a more peaceful world if we had more gay people around.
Really? How do you even equate the adult gay movement with NAMBLA? I think they're not the same thing at all, and most gay people, as far as I know, are not molesters of children.
Well, I didn't say that. What I was saying, though, is that if you allow one to do it, then the other one will do it, has that right to do it too. And that's what they were discussing, that it'd be a neat thing to do. Like I said, these are, like I said, some of the radical elements, but you allow one person to do it, then the other one could do it too, and that's what I'm afraid of happening.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody ought to be able to do it. That's ridiculous. Anybody who's a sexual proclivities are toward children should certainly not be allowed to adopt children. And I don't believe this society will allow it, not for a second. So it's a conversation hardly worth having. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
David, California.
Hello.
How you doing?
Fine.
I'm just, let me get the radio here.
Turn it off, yes. That's what you've got to do.
Okay, you there?
Yes, I've been here the whole time, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I think this is just, this burning of churches and all that is just a symptom of the breakdown of our society.
Well, in that case, we're coming down the old home trail.
I think we're definitely going to end up with the revolution here, and we're going to end up with the race war and everything else going on at the same time.
Well, I can't think of anything that'll more quickly promote it. Burn down people's churches, and they get really upset.
Yeah, I think, when government's basically rotted from the top to the bottom, Bill Clinton, Bob Dole, Gingrich, all of them are a mess. What else are we going to do?
It is a very good question, and I don't know. I guess the only way we prevent something from occurring that is catastrophic is to take individual action and hope there are enough of us left to do that.
Nobody seems to want to do anything right now. Everybody just sits around watching television. They don't even want to take care of their own children anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, we're looking at our society disintegrate before our eyes.
Well, I can only imagine if I were a church-going person, and I had a church down the street that I went to once or twice a week, whatever, and somebody burned it down with hate for me or my race or my religion as a motive, I would be fighting mad. I would be fighting mad. I would be ready to pick up a gun and go after whoever it was.
Well, that's all we need there is a bunch of people picking up guns.
That's exactly right.
The other side pick up guns.
So far, as nearly as I can tell, the black religious community that has suffered at the hands of this sort of thing has been very restrained in their response, and I wouldn't be so restrained. What greater insult can there be than burning somebody's church? No, you can't burn their religion. But still the insult of going after their church. I mean, if somebody burned my church, if I was a regular church goer, and I'm not, I would be livid. I would be angry enough to start a race war. So I think the restraint thus far has been admirable, and I think they better go after this harder and find out what's going on here. And if it is a general thing that has begun to occur in this country, they better get a handle on it. Or else. East of the Rockies, you're on the air.
I knew the 13th time would be a charm.
Well, I'm glad you made it. Where are you?
This is Kevin from Kansas City.
Good, Kevin.
About the Freeman thing, where you said that if an average citizen was to try that, they'd run right on in?
Well, if you wrote a hot check and they came to get you, and you held them off with a gun, you tell me what would happen.
Well, they would wait for about 6 hours and then hope that you gave up. And I know that for a fact because here in Kansas City, around 8 o'clock last night, somebody went off and held the police at bay for 6 hours.
6 hours, huh?
Yep.
Well, that's not like 70-something days. And what they're liable to do, if you did that, is they'd call in the SWAT team. And, yeah, maybe you'd get 6 hours out of a standoff, but not much more.
Well, this is about the second time that they've, had something like this, and, people in the situation basically, I guess, think, well, hey, if the Freeman can do it, so can I.
Yeah.
Got another question for you.
Sure.
Your opening theme, I've been trying to find it, but I can't seem to. What group is it done by?
All right, it's just go out and get the soundtrack to the movie Midnight Express.
Okey-doke.
That'll do it.
Okay. Also, possible two guests.
Yes?
Would it be possible if you used to get a hold of Fox Television
Yes.
and have Paul McGann and his manager, Janet Fielding, I believe is how you pronounce it.
I don't know who these people are.
He was in Aliens 3. He is also the current Doctor Who character.
Right, well, I'll consider it. Loprena is liquid aspirin, and you should consider it. It is a topical aspirin. You spray it on, work it in a little bit, and relief. I'm telling you, I know. I did it. I murdered my thumb. Sprayed on Loprena, rubbed it in a little bit, poof. The pain went from agonizing to bearable. Aspirin is one of the best pain relievers ever devised by mankind. It's better than a lot of the ones that get you hooked. Actually relieves more pain without making you dumb. Now there is a way to get pain relief without swallowing tablets. It's called Loprena. Got a special deal for you. Buy 2 bottles of Loprena that'll last a long, long time, and they throw in a free 2-ounce roll-on version of Loprena, brand new, $15 value, free of charge. Call Health Naturally at 1-800-308-4565. It really does work, and that's all that matters. If you need relief and you don't want to swallow pills all the time, you need Loprena. 1-800-308-4565. West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hi, how you doing?
Okay.
Well, I'd like to comment on several things. I'm Raphael from Bakersfield.
Yes.
Yeah, about Douglas Wallace.
Yes.
One thing. For instance, they say that they're going to tax the churches, right? Now, the churches being taxed have the right to deduct everything they do for the charity.
Sure.
So all the work they do in charity is going to be non-taxable. So the church will be more inclined in do work for charity.
Well, I guess it would depend, though, sir, on to what degree they would be able to make those kinds of deductions. You, for example, in your tax return, can only deduct so much, even for charitable work.
Right.
So,
but at least they'll be able to do that, to deduct the thing from charity.
Well, I doubt they're going to get around to taxing churches at all, frankly, despite what you may have heard. Although, I think there is some constitutional basis for that argument. I don't want it to happen, but I consider it certainly possible. Good morning, everybody. Well, maybe we'll try something here in a minute. Hi there, west of the Rockies. Were you holding?
I am. I'm here.
All right.
Okay, about that guy that wants to be in an earthquake.
Yes.
I was in an 8.6.
8.6. Where?
The largest ever recorded in the history of man. Concepcion, Chile, 1962. And it's not fun.
No, it's not fun.
It's not fun. My city, Concepcion, has been rebuilt 5 times because we have so many earthquakes there. If he wants to experience one, go there.
Go to Chile, huh?
Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you. No, I would not want to be in a big earthquake. As I said, tornadoes you can run away from. About the only way to escape an earthquake, I suppose, is to go to the air. If these so-called Christian white supremacists really believe that they are superior, then they should also believe that it is their duty to take care of what they call the inferior races. If they believe they are closer to God, then they should be willing and even enthusiastic about providing welfare, shelter, education, etc., to those other races as part of their Christian duty. They should take black, yellow, and Jewish people under their wings and be their big brother. Since they do not, their very action goes against the white supremacist concept, and, if anything, may show they are too inferior to rule over any race of people. Dennis in Kansas City. Huh. I may open a line for anybody who is considers themselves to be a white supremacist. I really wonder if they are out there, and apparently they are in big numbers. Or maybe this is another one of those things blown up in the press and is not as real as we imagine it to be. Which do you think is true? I'm not exactly sure right now. For a long time, for several years, it was my belief that these people were very, very few in number and that the press just blew it up. I don't know that I'm as sure anymore, and it's very worrisome. So let me try that. Anybody want to admit to being a white supremacist? Perhaps even a Christian white supremacist? Maybe you can explain how all of that works together. So if that's you, if you will come on here and say, yes, I'm a white supremacist, yes, the white race is better than other races, call me at area code 702-727-1222, and everybody else, don't call. 702-727-1222. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, Art.
Hi.
For one thing, Christian white supremacist is a contradiction in terms.
That's the way I feel about it.
And I think the word Christian has, through semantical changes, has lost its true meaning. People are grabbing onto this word and saying, yeah, we have the right way. And they're giving dogma, and they're laying guilt, but they're doing it mostly to themselves. They're laying a mindset that they're fighting for. They have forgotten that they're spiritual entities, as we all are, and they have blocked themselves in, and they're fighting for this.
Mm-hmm.
And they have lost the point of what we are basically as beings.
Well, I'd say that's probably fair, yes.
And the golden rule has more meaning than most people know.
Well, it probably has absolute meaning, sure. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, that sort of thing, sure. All right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to restrict that line. So if you are a white supremacist, call me. Let's see if we actually get some. I'm actually not sure what it is. Is it something blown up in the press way beyond all reasonable bounds, and there are very few of them out there? Or, as it would seem to be, is it growing? Is it getting worse? Is this movement getting stronger? Are they the ones burning down churches? And if so, I'm interested to know what they expect to gain from it. Or is it the kind of thing like between Israel and some of the Arab countries that the extremists are just itching for a fight? They don't want peace. They don't want an integrated America. They want a war. Well, they're probably off on the right track. If it's a war they want, I suspect eventually, if this were to continue unchecked, a war they would get. We'll be right back. On my white supremacist line, you're on the air.
Hello, my name is Steve, and I'm calling from the West. And what is it you would like to ask me?
Oh, I guess a number of things, Steve. Do you honestly believe the white race is superior?
I do, in many categories. However, I will say there are a couple that I would find arguable, but for the most part, I believe that the white race is superior.
In what way?
In what way we're superior?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Intellectually, academically, innovatively, politically, spiritually.
So in almost every way.
Almost, yes.
Mm-hmm. And you would cite no doubt examples of intelligence tests that would seem to show whites scoring higher than blacks?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Then how do you respond to the fact that those same tests, when given to Asians, score higher than whites?
I don't believe that those tests are exactly.
So you believe them when when they show whites outscoring blacks, but not when they show Asians outscoring whites. Interesting.
Well, I don't know what your data is on. I think mathematically the Asians are trained harder and they're more disciplined.
These are general intelligence tests, sir.
Yeah, well,
what I'm saying is
what I'm talking about. For instance,
but you're embracing them when they say
the
what
Oriental does not score higher on the English part of the SAT.
On the English part of the SAT. Well, I doubt that we score higher on the Japanese part of the SAT.
Yeah.
I can't.
We don't study Japanese.
Then too, nor do the Japanese study English. You missed my point entirely. My point is, in general intelligence tests, the Orientals, as a group, score higher than whites.
Well, that's probably correct.
Yes, it is.
I would cite the reason for that is they're more disciplined.
They're more disciplined
than the average white. Yeah, they study harder. They study longer.
Does that make them superior?
Not necessarily.
Well, then, how can you claim superiority on the same basis over blacks or Chicanos or whatever?
Because the blacks are in our culture. They have the same opportunities as the whites. However, they dramatically across the board score lower in college level courses, pre-graduate level courses. They've been through the educational system that's supposed to be fair and equitable. However, when they take the GRE or the GMAT or the LSAT or any of those other tests, on the average, they score dramatically less than the average white.
Do you understand that people with beliefs like yours are burning black churches?
I don't condone the violence, no.
You don't?
I don't. I'm not.
I'm
not a violent.
You're not a violent person?
Nope.
What do you think it's going to lead to if this continues?
The church burning?
Yes.
Well, I don't think we've proven who's doing it. Actually, we blame the white person for all the children that were killed in Atlanta when they come to find out it was a black male that was doing it. But I think we need to wait and see what the evidence shows. I don't think it's been proven yet.
Well, of those that have been arrested thus far, they're white.
Right. And I think you'll find criminal element in just about any culture or philosophy.
Oh, no doubt. But you don't honestly embrace the concept that blacks are just burning up their own churches, do you?
No, I don't. And I don't think that every anti-abortionist is a doctor killer either.
Do you think that most of or even a majority, a bare majority of the church burnings are done by blacks?
I don't know. I don't, done by blacks, you mean?
Uh-huh.
I don't know what percentage I would put on that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you very much for the call. You are not exactly what I was looking for, but you're close. It's very interesting that somebody would embrace the concept that they are superior and cite tests, intelligence tests that have been given, and then reject as bad testing when confronted with the fact that Asians are outscoring whites, or simply attribute it to, what did he say, discipline? Discipline? Well, is discipline then a measure of might, as in white is right, or Asian is right? Are we talking about discipline then as a measure of superiority? First time caller line, you're on the air.
Art Bell.
Yes.
Did you know that Editor's Note had not won a race in 9 races?
I did know that, yes.
Okay, yeah, that was very interesting when I saw that.
I know. I hope that man will contact me. We'll get him on the air.
Yeah, I'd like to hear more on that subject. When do you think you'll have that lady back on?
What lady?
Dr. Pepsi?
Oh, yes. I don't know. No doubt, eventually.
Okay. Well,
All right.
I love your show.
Okay, thank you. West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hi, Art. This is Steve in Boise.
Hi, Steve.
How are you?
Okay.
Good. I was just calling to to comment on the race issue.
Yes.
The problem that I have with it, the doctor that you had on 3 weeks ago
Yes.
said that his God is nature, and that he was saying that that the things that he finds in nature support his beliefs.
Yes.
And yet, I have never seen a cow not want to mate with another cow because it was a different color, or, a dog that's a collie, for example, not want to mate with a dog that's a German Shepherd because it's a different race. And so his very beliefs, or his God, quote unquote, defy his very beliefs. And then as the callers that you've had in tonight, sorry, I've got a cold coming on.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. The callers that you've had in tonight that claim that they are Christian and at the same time supremacist.
Yes.
Everything in the Bible basically defies that, as you have pointed out. God is no respecter of persons. Jesus himself said to go ye into all the world. And so there's just nothing that I can see that would support their beliefs at all. And, how they can claim to be supremacist on one hand and yet Christian on the other is just...
I know. I don't compute it.
Neither do I. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you very much for the call. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi, Art. This is Scott from Modesto, California.
Hi, Scott.
I'm listening on KMJ 580 Fresno.
Yes, sir.
I have a comment on the gentleman who was talking about earthquakes here.
Yes.
I hear a lot of people are commenting on it, but I wanted to share something of my own. I lived out in Oklahoma for a while, and tornado country right there on tornado lane, I suppose you'd call it.
Yes.
And I had somewhat of a morbid curiosity about them. I mean, I was always excited as a youth whenever there's a major storm coming by.
Yes.
It would keep me awake, mostly out of excitement. But I also happened to be living in Coalinga, California when the 6.7 hit, about 82.
Yes.
And that was centered directly underneath Coalinga, downtown Coalinga. And it was not something comparable by any sense. I mean...
No, well, you're helpless. If you're on the ground in an earthquake, there is no escape. You can't run away from it. Tornadoes, you can run away from.
Yeah, it hit just after track practice, and everyone that was around me fell instantly to the ground. I mean, it was so strong.
Sure.
It was exciting at the time, but the moment you see the destruction through town, it was the scariest and most sobering experience. I mean,
well,
you just don't want to go through it again.
That's right. We think we build very sound structures. The Japanese, as a matter of fact, thought they built very sound structures, and they found out their so-called earthquake-resistant structures were not. And they went down like a house of cards. It depends on the kind of quake you get and the kind of shake it produces, but generally we are pathetic indeed when matched up against the best of Mother Nature. And a 7 to 8 to 9 point earthquake, not much stands at the end of that. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi, this is Mike from Michigan.
Hello.
Hi, I just heard this on the radio that Jack Kevorkian now has 29 notches in his exhaust pipe.
Another one, huh?
Yeah, just in is what I heard. They're not giving out any information.
I wonder if they'll put him on trial again.
I don't. It's kind of a weird thing because my personal view, I'm kind of pro-assisted suicide, but as far as having Jack Kevorkian spearheading the movement, I'm not for that,
Well, I more or less agree with you. I think that a person has a right at the end to decide about their own life. It's not an easy choice. However, Jack Kevorkian is probably trying to prove a point with what he's doing and get a societal a debate going.
Well, there definitely is a debate going, but
Yes.
He needs to get more support through the medical establishment or people that are willing to come forward, because he really is making it look bad. He's actually, I don't think he's helping. He is by, he keeps doing it over and over, but, he needs to get more people, or at least less circus-like individuals. He's always been, they talk about, you always hear them talking about dignity, him and his lawyer, they're always saying people should die with dignity, this, that, and the other, but, dignity is not, putting them in your VW microbus and carting them up to into the hospital parking lot and leaving your body there.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
there are degrees, sir, of dignity, and I guess I don't want to go too far with this, but dying with a diaper on, not in control of any of your own bodily processes, that's not much dignity either. So my take on this is that it is your life, it is my life, and I can tell you this: no government would stand in my way if I decided that I was going to take my life, and I'm certainly not here telling you I am, but if I decided I was going to, no government has a right to step in my way. That's my take on it. So, in some ways, Kevorkian is a hero. I certainly don't want what Kevorkian is doing to become the way it is done. There needs to be structure. There needs to be several doctors that concur. There needs to be eventually, and Kevorkian even agrees with this, there needs to be a lot of safeguards in place so that we don't begin to get murders, convenient dispositions of the older and no longer enjoyed, that sort of thing. And that's the slippery slope that you've got to worry about. But as a general rule, I believe that it is our life, your life, my life, and I don't want anybody, not the government, not anybody else, telling me what to do with it. And when the pain and suffering has gone on and the hospital expense long enough, I've got more on this in a moment.
This is Premier Networks. That was Art Bell hosting Coast to Coast AM on this Somewhere in Time.
Let's continue with this for a moment, shall we? The Kevorkian business. I'm no great fan of Kevorkian's. That's for sure. And I don't think his way is the way. I think what he's doing is trying to create a debate. He's certainly accomplished that. I do think that my life is my own. And toward the end, if I decided that I wasn't going to, look at our Medicare budget. Everybody's out there freaking out over Medicare right now. 1/3 of the total $200 billion yearly expenditure in Medicare is spent in the last 10 days of anybody's life. The last 10 days. Keeping them awake, many times not even awake, not conscious, but alive, ticking. Drawing, like the chupacabra draws blood from a goat, the money from the family, and the heirs, and the estate, and keeping them alive for what? Now, I think it should be a person's choice. You want to spend all your money to stay alive a few more days, that's fine. You go right ahead and do it. I might make a different choice, and I'm not even saying I would, but I would say don't try and stand in my way, or you might be tread upon as you try. And certainly the government shouldn't. If I decide that I'm going to end my life because I'm in horrible, mind-racking pain, or even if I decide that my life has lost its usefulness and I wish to end it, I know you might say I'm wrong, but I don't care. It's my life. It's not yours. It's not President Clinton's. It's not the wannabe President Dole's. It's my life, for whatever that's worth, and I will make that decision. Simple as that. There's a lot of libertarian in me. Conservative economically, to some degree politically, but more of a libertarian. There's a lot of libertarian in me, and this is one area where it really comes out. Nobody stands in my way. Now, if society wants to debate this and come up with a way for it to be done where there's safeguards in place, that's how it ought to be done, not Kevorkian's way. But what he is doing is promoting a debate, and I guess it's time we had one. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hello. This is Edward in Salt Lake City.
Hi.
Boy, I tried to get through the night you had Dr. Pierce on. You didn't take any calls that night with him. And then again, to talk to your skinhead. I have to come at that, not to avoid your last topic there, but, you know, I have to come at the white supremacist stuff from another angle, because I was raised in that crap for quite a while.
Yeah.
In my life. My grandfather never did believe there was a Holocaust. He was a German immigrant. My father eventually accepted it, but I had to learn that for myself in school.
Well, when you believe it, when you embrace it, when you believe it, then you have to accept some genetic shame, I guess, and so the inclination is not to do that.
Yes, and you know, having seen my father involved, both as you know, he was a good American as far as most things went, very active politically. But then I also saw him involved. I mean, I met Joe Clark in Denver. You know, the sheriff that stopped the Civil Rights March, and Barry Goldwater, and all kinds of people. But those things all blended together in those days, but there were still a lot of people that didn't, you know, a lot of old people that could not accept things. Now I think it's a different problem, because I think that most of the population should be a lot more educated about.
I know, you're absolutely right about that. This is a different problem. Yes. It's the same old thing, but it's something new.
Yes, and you know what's bothered me greatly of late is the fact that I can't see any innate source. I cannot find the source of the agitation.
Right.
But there's a lot of it happening, and I can't blame it on the media. But it almost, you know, I'm not a conspiratorialist at all. Somebody is agitating it beyond what, you know. These militia types are generally disorganized. I mean,
yeah.
I know of where I speak. You know, as a child, I fired automatic weapons that were being manufactured for the KKK. I mean, this is how radical some of the people that I saw. But I knew it was wrong then. But these guys are not very well organized. Yet what we see and what we constantly hear about now is more organized, as if it's being agitated a lot.
I think your point. Look, I really take your point to heart, sir, and I hope everybody else listening does too. I tend to agree. This is not your granddad's racism. This is something new. What do I mean by that? Racism is racism. Well, not exactly. This is born of some new center. This is born of some new. This is not the old Southern racism, segregation. This is something new. This is a new kind of hatred. And it's hard to even, frankly, put into words, because I don't know where it comes from. Maybe some of you can help, but whatever it is, there is a new source for it. Here's a fax I just got, too. Cyber snobbery. Hi, Art. It's been quite a while since I put in my 2 cents worth, and I thought this would be a good time to do it. I started out on AOL and was with them for 3 or 4 months before switching to a direct internet provider. Most of the people I know also began on AOL or one of the other online providers. I found that while AOL was very user-friendly, especially for a beginner, it and the other online providers are very cost prohibitive. I'll get it, if you have more than just a passing interest in the Internet. They tend to be quite slow, comparatively, and that clock is always ticking. However, I was really amazed at the near hatred for AOLers expressed by those on the Internet who are so much more, quote, cool, end quote, with it, end quote, because they have a direct provider. Granted, AOLers are lacking in net etiquette and common courtesy, but they sure don't have any corner on that market. It seems to me that it'd be a lot more helpful and beneficial to all of us that enjoy cyberspace if a little more of welcome aboard attitude was expressed by those with more experience, instead of this holier-than-thou attitude that seems to be prevalent. Besides, as you know, many people simply do not have the option of going with a direct provider because of their geographical location or other reasons. At any rate, I agree with you. It is snobbery at its worst. Larry in Medford, Oregon. Dead on the money, Larry. First-time caller line, you're on the air. Hi. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, you're on the air.
Is this our bell?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this is Gary calling from Reading.
Hi.
And I just wanted to ask you, the guy with the demon seeds?
Yes.
And did you say that you could grow meat off of the plants themselves?
That's what he claims, yes.
So would that make you a farmer or a rancher? That's important, so you
maybe
can get
both.
subsidized.
Yeah, maybe both. I wonder how much money the government would give me, considering how big the plant would get, for not growing it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you know, the drought in Texas.
Yes.
You know, meat prices are going to go up.
It's a good point, sir. I'll hold the seeds.
Okay, and I wanted to talk about the Christian supremacists.
Yes.
Wasn't Christ not an Aryan?
That'd be my guess, yeah.
He was Hebrew?
Well, I doubt he was an Aryan.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I don't know how they can be Christian supremacists. Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense to me either, and yet they are, and they appear to be growing. And as I discussed with another caller, very insightful, a few moments ago, this racism today, this hatred we've got today, appears to me now that I think about it to be very sourced in a very different way than the old stuff. You know, Granddad's racism in the South. It's not like that. This is new, and it's different.
Right. I think that has a lot to do with people are just hiding hate behind religion. Once again, it's happened through the ages. You know, this isn't nothing new.
Okay to hate and be racist as long as you do it in God's name.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
Okay, I appreciate your call.
Enjoy your show.
Have a good morning. I mean, think about that a little bit. If I go on the IRC chat, I enjoy myself. If I go into AOL's chat room, I enjoy myself. If I go on any of the other many services, I enjoy it. I like cyberspace, all of it. And maybe it's symptomatic. I mean, here we are again. All of this divisiveness and hatred in cyberspace and snobbery, whatever you want to call it, I think it's ridiculous and a waste of time. It's really very much like racism or feelings of superiority, white superiority. It's a big waste of time and energy. Why can't you enjoy it where you are? Why do you spend all the time hating others, hating other avenues? Let it be. They all serve their purpose. AOL, for example, gets people into and holds on to many of them. It gets them into cyberspace when otherwise they wouldn't begin to know how to deal with some other type of provider, or they aren't ready for it. So, it's in every aspect of life, and this is just one that I'm in, so I happen to notice it very much. Hatreds and animosities and differences are on the increase. It's going to get us, I'm telling you. East of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Well, I would like to make a comment about what they said about discipline being the reason for people to be more superior, but that was what Hitler had, right down to the hiney.
Yeah, a
Total
lot of
control.
discipline. That's true.
Total control. And the other thing I'd like to mention is that I'm Aryan. I live in a neighborhood that is all colors, and I feel closer to them. I mean, I'm more safe with some of them in my neighborhood than I'm with my own Aryan class, because there is always a chicken in the hen house that gets picked to death by the rest of the chickens. As you know, if you've ever heard the story about farming, chickens do pick on one chicken, and they pick on it until there's a bloody mess and it dies. And you know, our society represents that very much. If we haven't got superiority somewhere and someone to peck at, you see?
I guess I do, yes.
And hey, here's another humorous vein. Do you realize how much chicken we're eating? And how much turkey we're consuming? So what are we turning into, a bunch of chickens and turkeys?
Well, in more...
Because we're afraid of the beef.
Thank you. See you later, because we're afraid of the beef. Anybody want to take a stab at the old racism versus the new? The old hatreds versus the new ones? There has been a change. It's a very interesting thing to discuss, isn't it? I understood the structure of the segregation and to some degree racism in the Deep South when I was a youngster. I saw it. You know, I saw it. I saw a lot of it going on. But it was very different than what we have today. It was a structured kind of more of a segregation than it was a racism. Sure, there was plenty of racism involved on the part of many. But generally, it was more segregation than racism. Make no mistake, there were certainly hatreds that brewed and manifested themselves in many terrible ways. But it was arguably different than those today. This is not your grandfather's racism. This is something totally new and, in a lot of ways, more insidious. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Oh, good heavens. Pardon me, let me get the, got it.
Thank you.
There we go. This is Sandy calling from east of St. Louis. Boy, surprised you, picked that up. Anyway, what I'm calling about is, have you had any luck with, major, can you spell, dames for me? Is it,
D-A-M-E-S.
Okay, that's M as in,
Mary.
Okay, very good. That's what I thought. Okay. Have you had any luck with that, for starters?
Friday night, Saturday morning at 11 o'clock Pacific.
Wow. Okay, great. Now, I got a suggestion for you. I want to run this by you. How about having a round table or like a conference call with, say, Ed Dames, Richard Hoagland, Michael Lindemann, you can pick any one of that, any number of that group. And
they all have very different things, sir.
Not really.
Richard, yes,
Richard,
really.
Richard would be able to converse with this guy in a way I think that would.
I don't at all.
Well, no, I'm not sure. No. What I'm driving at here is we got to thrash out. Whether or not, we're really in trouble. That's
well,
really
it's only, all right, thank you very much. It's only a matter of how we best do that. And I think that having Richard Hoagland, who does a lot of work on Mars and the Moon, would not be the person to have on with Major Dames. What I want to do Friday night, Saturday morning is we'll have enough time, and I want to give you all more of an idea of what remote viewing is. A lot of people don't understand what SciTech is, what he did for the military, and what he's doing now in civilian life, and then that will put into perspective for you what he says is going to occur. First-time caller line, you're on the air.
Yeah, this is Lee in Lubbock.
Hello, Lee in Lubbock. How you doing?
Just fine. I was just calling this, I guess, it's the first time, but I was calling about the racism thing.
Yes, sir.
There's two books I found. One's, it's about LSD, actually, but they get into some really strange things about the CIA. It's called Acid Dreams. It's by a man named Bruce Cheyenne, I think his name is. But they get into some real interesting things about the CIA involvement in things like the SDS and the Weatherman and all the big activist groups in the late 60s.
Yes.
And it was saying they found documents saying like 1 in 6 of the demonstrators at the Democratic Convention in Chicago was actually either hired by the CIA or paid by them, you know, to cause trouble. And I started looking at that, and I started looking at like the LA riots and other things. And what I'm starting to see is like you have all these people blaming each other, and somebody gets them to point the finger, and that they're so caught up in this race deal where they got to attack and hate each other that they miss the point. And things like, you know, terrible social programs and eugenics programs and stuff are just going straight by them, and they never see it. You know, they're so focused on hating blacks or white and blacks hating whites. It's getting to the point where you wonder if there's not a different agenda.
All right, I see where you're headed. You're trying to say the government is doing it. The CIA is out here sponsoring it, encouraging it, whatever. I don't think so. Or if there's something to that, there's not much to it. You can't really create hatreds that aren't there. They're really there. That's an attempt to shift blame. Say, I'm not doing it. I don't, you know, it's not people out there really hating each other. It's the CIA making them do it. I don't believe in that, sorry. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Well, good morning, Art.
Good morning.
It's Mike in Blair, Nebraska.
Well, I'll be doggone. Mike, you're going to get the honors this morning because this program seems to be ending.
Oh, well, the one thing I wanted to say first was white supremacist Christian is an oxymoron.
Yeah, well.
And on that note, from Blair, Nebraska, good night, America.
There's a man who knows how to do it. Thank you from Blair, Nebraska, and all across this great land. Thank you from the great American Southwest High Desert. I'm Art Bell. Good night, America.